Good afternoon, everybody. So wonderful to be here with you today. I'm so excited for this session today. If you like what you hear, please tell your friends to go and listen to the replay because I think this is going to be a really fun session. I'm in Rachel's tag team for several years now, and I'm particularly known for channeling my very special guide, the great wizard Merlin. And Merlin will make an appearance today, but he's also going to step aside in favor of the warrior and wisdom goddess Athena and her spirit guide owl, Pallas. And if you were watching the master class this month already, you'll know that Rachel already channeled Pallas, and what a delightful personality. How funny and how filled with wonderful information, but also a very friendly and hilarious personality. And also, we're going to concentrate today a little bit on the concept of daemons. I say it that way so that it doesn't get confused with demons. Now, you might know a little bit about this or you might not. You might never have heard of it. Demons, of course, is what we speak of when we talk about dark energies or evil energies or some kind of devils, right? But daemons is Daemons. And they come from a Greek word, which means a spiritual being, something that's half human, half God, or that's a wise being, a counselor, or something that's connected with you. Now, I will allow Pallas to come forward to speak with you now and explain more about this concept, for it is something that was fairly common in Atlantis and something you perhaps might be interested in aspiring knowing more about. All right. Yes, it is. It is exciting for me to be such a center of attention for this entire month, being channeled by several people and being the focus of your study, your inquiry at this time. I am Pallas the Owl that is linked with the great wisdom goddess Athena, and she is sometimes called Pallas Athena, which is a source of great pride to me, for we are one. We are linked. Now, I will be chosen now to explain to you the concept of daemons because it is important for you to know and perhaps to explore for yourself. There are many ways in which the animals of your planet have come to your planet, mostly from other universes or other star systems, and found homes here and adapted and evolved to love Earth as their home. And animal forms are multitudinous. There have been those that came and have already gone from your planet, and there are those that only exist in other dimensions and that only exist now in the imagination and in other dimensions and in the past. And there are those that are still coming in fresh to your planet. Animals are different expressions of the source energy. They are beautiful and deep and varied, and each of them has qualities that helps them to adapt to life on Earth, and that seem to be particularly evident in each. You have all heard of the industriousness of the ant, per se, or the fierceness of the tiger. These are qualities that you are familiar with. They are not the whole being, but they are what initially comes across to you as defining that being. There are many ways in which animals relate to humans, for you are all of the same source energy and you are all in the same evolutionary line, not with the angels, for example, or the Fae, although some animals are connected with the Fae and elementals. There is much overlap, for energy is energy. Energy is from source. All is from source. And it is possible for source to have things that overlap or experiment with being part something and part something else. Back to the theme here, we have those that are totem animals or spirit animals or guide animals who may associate with humans that they may feel they're drawn to, or that they can help, or they are on a mission to assist, or that they need to alert these humans to the qualities that they need or that are within them. And these may be energetic beings. This may be bits of source energy which come because they are resonating with these humans and they are called for to help. to help move these humans on their path towards a higher evolution and ascension. And some of them come and stay with those humans for a very long time, whispering in their ear like their guardian angels, alongside their guardian angels. And some of them may come and go. They come for a moment and do their job and then move on, for they have succeeded or they have done what they can do. And so a human can reach out and find out if, on an energetic level, in another dimension, there is a spirit animal that feels called to be near them, to teach them temporarily or permanently. There are spirit animals and totem animals and guide animals which are with them sometimes lifetime after lifetime. And then, of course, there are the animals that come into incarnation as pets, as companions, as flesh and blood friends, who are making the biggest commitment to being in the flesh for a lifetime, sometimes many lifetimes, to be in relationship to those humans and to teach and to support and to love them unconditionally. And that is a mutual bond of respect and love. So now all of these are true, but this is not Daemons. Daemons are a completely different thing. And I will tell you now something that you may be surprised. Daemons are usually up here with those who are highly evolved humans, as you will think of Athena, my Athena, and Merlin, and many others, who are capable at a certain level of fracturing off a bit of their own soul, of their own higher self. And so a daemon is actually a piece of your soul, a bit of your higher self, which is not necessarily so hard to understand when you think that your soul is huge and is sometimes having many lifetimes going on at the same time in different dimensions, in different alternate universes, in different timelines, perhaps. And so the soul is huge, having a variety of experiences all at once, collecting all that energy. But a wise and evolved human may be able to ask to fracture off a small piece of that soul, which is then individualized for its particular qualities and will choose to express itself in an animal form, for that is pleasing and easy and convenient, and also very clear in terms of what is expected of that piece of the soul. If it is wisdom that one might need from time to time, wisdom and guidance, an owl is a very good choice, as I can attest to. If it is more fierceness and more ability to stand up to those who are enemies or obstacles, perhaps the tiger or the bear is a good choice, or the dragon even. If it is to have a reminder of loyalty and unconditional love, a dog is a good choice. Cats are always a good choice because the cat is an ancient being who is, well, wise in its own way, independent thinking, funny. There is so much to say about cats. You can take my drift. Yes, yes. And there are infinitely many shapes and types of animal and creature which can be chosen by that fraction of the soul which wishes to assist, which wishes to bond, which wishes to stand by their human counterpart and be a source of comfort and companionship and guidance to them at all times. And so the demon, so to speak, is just a part of yourself, expressing and energetically expressing in a different form. You have heard the expression, 2 heads are better than one, yes? Well, 2 heads are better than one. Every being who is incarnate in a body, even fifth-dimensional body, has times when they feel perhaps unclear about the path ahead, or the decisions they must make, or the situations that are presented to them and how they should respond to them and how the best, highest good will be achieved. And so it is good to have a second head, so to speak, an externalized part of yourself that you can have a conversation with, who is sometimes independently thinking, who will sometimes perhaps kick you or say, no, you are not on the right path. You have fallen off of your core desire, or who will support you no matter what, or who will give you unconditional love in difficult or tragic times. It is important. It feels like it is your heart. It is the closest relationship you will ever have, closer than any romantic relationship, closer than any mother-child relationship, closer than, because it is a part of yourself. It is the ability to love yourself, but to externalize who you are so that you can practice that love unconditionally for someone who knows your every thought, someone who understands you and understands when you fall off the path that you are to be on, or someone who understands when you are tempted to go in different ways, or when you are depressed or dispirited and cannot find the energy to move forward. Your daemon is there to encourage, to guide, to remind, to cozy up to you, to love you, to remind you who you are, to remind you that you are loved and you are good, to help you find the energy to go on. And while, as I said, daemons have the ability to shapeshift and take any form they wish, they are energy. They are pure energy. They are part of a soul. They do not have to nail themselves down in a form. Back in Atlantis, because we were a higher dimension, the daemons were more, can I say this? They were in fleshly form. They were visible, touchable. Now it is not possible for that to be yet. Your daemons are energetic. They have been for a long time, and they are still with you. And they can take any form they wish, but they tend to settle into a form that reflects who they are and who you are more completely. So therefore, every human may have a different animal partner who is at their side in every moment and who they rely on for wise counsel and support and love. Unfortunately, most humans don't even know that they have this wonderful gift. And it would be good if more humans explored the possibility that they may have this available to them if they only reached into the next dimension and invited their daemon to make themselves known. Yes, Athena has me. I am with her always. And now we are both in dimensions that are the high dimensions, not at all in the flesh. And I am there still as an owl, representing and embodying the powers and the qualities of the owl and the wisdom of the owl. And so she relies upon me in her work in the highest dimensions, her work among the gods and goddesses and the intergalactic councils, her work in the light, in the ascension, in all of the dimensional work that is being done now to raise Earth. And I am there beside her, and I am hers always. And we have conversations, and we sometimes disagree, but we do not ever part ways. And Merlin has his daemon always with him, always wise, always spurring him on. It is something one never outgrows, to have that extra thought, that extra pair of eyes, that extra perspective, to raise one's perspective to see things from different sides. Yes, yes. And so you can imagine that over the centuries, when the Atlanteans came to other parts of the world and established mystery schools and were in leadership positions or were seen as high priests and priestesses or supernatural beings or gods and goddesses or teachers or whatever they were seen as. You can imagine that for a while, the daemons that we are were fearsome because they did not understand the concept of a portion of oneself that is in a different form. And then gradually the daemons became invisible to the third dimensional perception. We were energy beings. We are in a higher dimension, and we were not able to vibrate low enough for them to see us. And so when people saw the advanced vibrational humans walking around supposedly speaking to themselves, having conversations with themselves, it frightened them and made them think that these people were possessed by devils. And so, unfortunately, the concept of daemons became demons, which became defined. Even if you look in some of your dictionaries, the word daemon or demon is going to be associated with evil, with devils, with possession, with the attempt to drag someone down into dark or evil forces. This was never the intention, of course, and never the meaning of the word or of who we are. It was a misinterpretation by those who could not see or understand our position in the cosmos and what beautiful support we were affording. And so now you understand, and now I will bet that you would love to have a daemon of your own. Yes, you do already. All of you are light workers. All of you are highly advanced. You are working towards your fifth dimensional ascension. You are at least fourth dimensional by now. And at times when you meditate or when you take an attunement, you are momentarily in higher dimensions, higher vibrational planes, at least momentarily. And you have had demons beside you for all of your lifetime. And some of you are aware of this. Some of you speak, for example, of knowing that you are followed by a black panther or a raven or whatever it may be that seems to be your spirit animal. But wouldn't you like to know that these are parts of your own soul that work with you, that love you unconditionally, that are part of your heart, that go with you always, and that always give you their wisest counsel or a new perspective so that you may figure out the solution to things by seeing it from all angles. Perhaps you may be able to connect with them. And if you break through the veils and connect with them once, you will be able to call upon them always, because they will never be far from your side. They will always be there in your heart and by your side and at your ear. Always. And for some of you, your demon might decide to be a bit of a shapeshifter and hard to settle down. But for most of you, they're already attached to a form that they most feel resonates with who they are and who you are and who you need. I hope it was a better understanding of what all these spirit animals mean and who some of them are. There are different kinds of connections with spirit animals, totem animals, guide animals, pets. They're all different. But hopefully now you have one that you can cleave to your heart and have with you at all times, who will be a great help to you. And that is a little bit of something that came from all the way back in Atlantis, and that we hope to build on for the future. All right, have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you again in a couple of weeks.